However, in African football, as I told you yesterday, several countries are looking to restart the seasons, much like Germany is moving to do. Let's go and get some reaction from somebody whose job it is to collate the views from across Africa. BBC Sports' Mimi Fawaz is with us. Many thanks for your time. Mimi?
Thank you, Gary.
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm very well, and you, how's it all going?
Yep.
Keep up the good work.
Yes. COVID is giving us a bit of a headache.
Yeah.
But first of all, let me ask you, what would you say is the reaction by African leagues in general toward COVID-19? How have you seen it from where you sit?
Well, Gary, just today, the Confederation of African Football President Ahmad granted an interview actually to German media saying that the most important thing before African football is restarted is health and before things are normalized. So it's interesting to see what the definition of things are normal, in the sense that we've seen a lot of African countries just suspend their leagues, ended, or if we just look at Kenya, for example, they went ahead and just named a champion. And today as well, Rwanda said that they can continue the suspension till September. We're still waiting to hear from countries like Egypt, for example, and Morocco, what their plan will be. But the Egypt FA has today come out to say that they're extending their curfew till the end of Ramadan, so the end of May. And I think after that, then we'll get to find out if they will be following in the steps of Germany and resuming the league.
Having covered African football for so long, what is your realistic expectation for a continent that doesn't have as robust health facilities as Germany, and generally, infrastructure is not that great, to put it mildly?
Well, I'm going to go exactly with what Ahmed says, the president of CAF and the World Health Organization. The most important thing, Gary, is health. Now, the World Health Organization early on in this pandemic has spoken about testing. Now, the Bundesliga are going to be testing their players at least once a week. What are the African leagues going to put in place? Bundesliga as well are going to be playing their matches behind closed doors. I suspect any of the African leagues that decide to carry on in the summer will have to as well follow in that. But they're really going to need to have the testing capabilities as well, check that none of the players are testing positive for COVID-19, as we saw in the Bundesliga, having 10 players who tested positive just over a week ago, Gary.
Exactly. So from where you sit, again, in the BBC Africa studios, what vibe do you get from across the continent from the reporters on the realistic things that their federations are going to do?
You know, it's challenging for everybody. We're living in unprecedented times. You and I have never seen anything like this in our lifetime, and neither has the whole world. And we do hope that we will not see something like this in our lifetime again. It's very uncertain what will happen, but for sure, a lot of reporters have been at home, Gary, as you know. There hasn't been much sport to report on. So a lot of people have been working from home, like you, like I, doing the show from my home and relying a lot on calling players to do interviews via Zoom. So realistically, I don't see very many African football leagues kicking off in June, restarting their season in June, just a handful. But I cannot stress this enough. Human health is the most important thing, and having the testing capabilities. How many have the testing capabilities? Are they able to test regularly, at least once a week? Are they going to be able to separate, like we saw the Bundesliga saying, 1.5 meters in the locker room between players, and as well walking out? Are the teams going to walk out separately? Are they going to be able to stop the fans from gathering outside the stadiums? That is also something that they have to bear in mind.
Sure. Mimi Fawaz, BBC Africa Sport, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gary.
And on that very COVID-19 note, we bring you to the end of the bulletin for now. For those